'Cause there's nothing left to do but to crank over those engines, gearheads, 'cause 'tis none other than us, the Lugnutz podcast.
Welcome everyone. Recorded 21 May 2024. Really? Already? Okay. Ford backpedals for Mustang. Call it. GM Camaro's up. Japanese 5 go. AI chips up. Tesla drops it like it's hot. That and more. Thank you for joining us.
Enjoy the show. Drive on Lugnutz.
I want you to drive on right over here. Facebook.com/Lugnutz podcast. Spelt with a Z, because we're edgy. And that's where you're going to find all of our luggy and nutty polished content coming up to you, wall jangers, as soon as we have it ready. Just like we have this first story ready.
So here it is. Jim Farley, CEO of Ford, was rolling out ideas as expanding the lineup. Do you remember when a few years ago when Ford said no more cars except a Mustang?
Yeah. They specifically said they were not going to make any more cars.
Yeah, I don't think that went well because here
they really loved their cars.
He did say they did rule out some certain models such as crossovers or off-roaders, but they haven't ruled out a sedan version of the Mustang. Aren't we going backwards at this point? People like Ford cars.
Well, the Mach-E really was a sedan version of the Mustang. It had 4 doors. It was electric. Woogie, woogie, woogie.
Well, there's the Ford SUV.
Well, yeah, they have their SUVs, but you know, with the Mustang, they kind of wanted to. They were like, we're not going to make anything else besides the Mustang. That's what they said before. They're like, nah, only Mustang stuff, only Mustang, only Mustang. Now they're like, well, you know, we're not crossing off sedans.
Yeah, it seems like they're backpedaling to me back to sedans because not everybody likes just
a lot of
SUVs.
them are. A lot of the companies are backpedaling.
Oh,
Electric.
sure.
Whoa, maybe hybrid. You know,
Yeah.
and now, hey, maybe we do want sedans.
There is other good news. They haven't ruled out the V8. They said they're not going to do the electric with that. They haven't dismissed hybrid, which
Everybody is not dismissing that. Go ahead.
But, you know, we could see a Mustang sedan in our future.
Maybe. It looks fine.
Yeah,
looks
it's
I mean,
fine. But
right now it's in like a concept bubble to where it could be
Right.
popped. You know, just
well, right now we could bolt over this next story. Remember the Chevy Bolt?
we don't talk about the Chevy.
No, but according to lawsuits cover the Chevy Bolt. They've established $150 million compensation fund to Bolt owners whose car caught fire
So you're getting $5
because of the battery. Actually, I think it's a bit more
I hope. I'm
Then
being
that-
facetious, but Jesus.
for the battery catching fire. It's part of a legal settlement between GM and Bolt owners, the class action lawsuit filed in Michigan 2020.
Of course.
They offered that they could fix the issue and they can receive $1,400 from the
Okay.
fund.
so
Bolt owners,
if
who
they fix it, you'll still get $1,400.
yeah, I think so. And Bolt owners who sold the car are eligible for a $700 payment,
Wow, that's a fucking smack in the ass.
according to the documents. I think that must be in addition to.
It has to be on top of the $1,400. Like
So it's $700.
It's not like you need to be like, all right, you still got the car. Here's $1,400, and I'm gonna fix it. Oh, you don't have it? You're $700.
So they think it's
That's a fucking bitch move.
No, I think they think it's $1,700 to fix it. And they just get.
Okay.
That's what I think is going on.
Whatever kind of
But if you sold it, we don't have to fix
I
it.
mean, it's $700. So
It's not horrible.
For a car you sold or got rid of. You know what I mean? $700 for them saying, I'm sorry. You know, maybe I'm being a little bit too critical.
GM sold 2,500 Bolts.
All right, so it wasn't that
2,000.
many.
Yeah, 25,000 is a lot.
I mean, when you look at like the Taurus, you look at like the Explorer, you look at like Toyota Highlanders, RAV4s, Corollas, hundreds of thousands of millions of
Yeah,
units.
it could have been way worse if it was way more popular.
This was
So
25,000.
You really,
I really feel like
on
this
that
is
one.
manageable.
Can you imagine?
This is very manageable for a problem. They're like, yeah, I mean, we had 25,000 people that had a problem. Some of them might not even have the car. But 2,500 or 25,000, I feel like that's not an unattainable goal for, especially for like a massive problem like a fire.
Mm-hmm.
If this was like an Explorer, it would have been national news. There would have been $1 million payouts. I mean,
Well,
there would have been
No,
a lot.
I
more.
think the payout would have still been smaller because so many cars.
Yeah, I mean, 25. Maybe that's what made that 1,400 and 700 possible. And we're like, you know what? It's only 2,500 cars.
If they only made
It's
three,
only-
and those
yeah.
three had a problem in a class action lawsuit, now that would be some money.
Oh, what was
You'd make that would be some.
What was
money.
that one recall? It was like for Lamborghini or Ferrari. And it was like 10 of them. They were like, hey, we're just gonna
Yeah, they just call the people.
hey,
We only sold 10 of them, so
we
we
might have
just
fucked
call
up.
them.
You know,
That's
that's
not that many.
That's about as light as you can get. Like, hey, we had like 10. Greg, can you come in? We just want to check it.
Yeah, when can you come in?
25,000. I mean, when we talking about recalls and even this,
And when
it was very big news, but it doesn't seem that bad.
Yeah, and when it's
25,000.
10, it's easier to just one here, one there.
Oh yeah,
And one for this next story. Here it is, the Chevy Camaro EV. Mustang may not be going EV, but Camaro is. Mark Ruiz says that they need need a real pony car, and it could start $35K.
okay, that's attainable.
It is. The last one started at $30K, but
What are you adding in there? If there's $5,000 enough of a buffer there, keep going, man.
I'll tell you what they're going to add. They might add a Camaro sub-brand. The Camaro and Camaro cars.
So they're doing like the Prius thing that Toyota tried. Like, here's a Prius. Here's a
Genesis
Prius
thing.
Plus. Oh, Genesis.
Genesis.
Yeah, and same thing. Like, hey, we're
Yeah.
just going to offer this.
It's just rumors, considering a 2x2
Right.
coupe, a convertible, a 2 and 4-door SUV.
You know, you just
Camaro name will live on. Scott Bell, Vice President, Global Chevy something or another, said this is not the end
they're just
of the
casting
Camaro's story.
They're just casting that line out there.
Starting at $35K with the EV tax credit. It
So
could
they
be
have
as
good
low as $27,500.
Yeah, they got good bait on that hook. They're just casting it out there like, hey, what do you guys think? You excited? And we'll get you in here.
Will be based on the Ultimum platform, which is also the Blazer, Equinox, Silverado, GMC, EV, Hummer, Cadillac, Lyricoy.
Uh-huh. So it's a trusted platform.
In Chevy performance, just like this next story. So we have the Chevy Equinox EV. It has a 319-mile range, front-wheel drive, 2LT, starting from $43,295. Including destination and 7,500 EV tax credit as well. Some of the features: Google Voice Assistant, Super Cruise, hands-free driving in certain circumstances. You still have to
Yeah, you got to pay attention.
be the intelligence in the car. Controls, Google Voice controls. I had mentioned that. Lots of tech.
Auto lift gate.
Yeah.
Which is pretty standard now on any SUV. You know, hit the button, it'll open the lift gate. It's honestly, it's very convenient. And they also have that hands-free thing where you just try to kick around a certain portion of your bumper.
Yeah, they do have a lot of
like,
features. In the,
It's around here. There you go. Now it opens up.
Based on the Ultimate platform, which you will get with your new Camaro.
I'm still
Corvette,
thinking the human race is
Everything
turning towards Wall-E, man. I mean, you got all these.
No, there'll be way more sentient people than in the animated, and we won't be animated like this next story. You are not going to be disappointed because it's Honda.
Yeah.
It's not animated, but
it looks like it.
It kind of looks animated.
Yeah, it looks like it.
This here is the new two-door that they're talking about for, don't get too excited, a considerable time in the future.
Wow, so that's like 2050. You'll see it.
No,
maybe.
2030, I think.
Oh.
We'll get to that.
Well, that's better.
They outline their EV strategy in their conference, Honda, and they do say they will use F1 tech in their new cars. I don't know if there's other photos, but I like this one.
I do like that one.
Let's.
Yeah, but I like the styling of it. The open kind of black grill.
Kind of like a
there.
coupe, not a coupe, roadster.
Yeah, roadster.
Looking British sports car
Yep.
look to it. They're promising to roll out 7 global models by the end of the decade. Will range from small to large. Honda will use the Formula One.
I do like it though. It's nice. I mean, I know it's concept. You'll probably get a A-pillar in there. It's not going to be like a wraparound windshield. That seems too expensive.
Well, who knows?
You know what I mean?
Actually, the A-pillar could be like this part right here.
Well, yeah.
It's black and the front window's black, so you wouldn't notice
You
it.
can't-
And because it's just a prototype that's spinning on a thing, you don't need to.
Yeah,
You're not driving it.
And a lot of those prototypes you see at like the auto shows and stuff that are spinning around, a lot of them don't even have engines in them. They don't have engines.
No.
They don't have transmissions. They just they push it.
This is what it's kind of going to look like.
It has a parking brake, and that's it. It's just, all right. It's going to sit here and spin. It doesn't need that stuff.
Well, they hope to capitalize on the Formula One race teams. A lot of the teams have Honda engines.
Yeah.
If you don't make your own engine, you got to get it from somewhere, and a lot of them go to Honda.
That started from NASCAR. Honda wanted to get in on NASCAR, and NASCAR, you needed a pushrod engine. So Honda didn't have one. So they went around to all the different manufacturers and said, hey, what are you doing? That's where that kind of came from with Honda.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody buys Honda engines now. Mm-hmm. And it comes from, they have that mentality of like, what are you doing? Oh, we can do that better.
Yeah. Well, they plan to shave off with that team 2,020, not 2,000 pounds. That would be negative.
Wow.
They
You're
plan
driving
to
at
shave
negative
off
pounds,
220 pounds.
That's that Reed Richards fucking Honda right there.
Negative rate.
Dipping into the negative zone.
Lighter body frame and thinner electric components. Okay. They'll mount the motors low for low center of gravity, like they all do on these cars. Because
heavy parts, man.
Use it where you got it.
Well, I mean, you look at the Germans. The Germans had and they still have very heavy cars, but they position the center of gravity right, so you don't even notice how heavy it is. It's just performing.
Well, the CEO said that the Fun EV is in development, and they have a completely different taste compared to Honda's sporty past. Okay. In 2026, we'll get an entry-level SUV. 2027, we'll get a 3-row SUV. 2028, we get
another SUV?
Compact SUV. I know.
My God. You know
2029, you know what we get?
Another SUV?
A small SUV.
Oh like
we don't have enough.
The one thing I was thinking of when I was looking at Honda's lineup, I was looking at them honestly, and I was saying, you guys don't have enough SUVs. HRV, Pilot,
2030.
Now you have 7 more planned. Thank God.
I think they should just keep the same names and just
Pilot 1.
Call it the names we know. Just call it the next Pilot, whatever.
Go with Star Wars names. Rogue 1, Rogue 2, Red 2, Red 3.
They can't.
My God, just
they can't do that. That's copyright.
Well, you can do something off of that. You know, I mean, play into it. It's just ridiculous with the amount of SUVs that you're putting out. How
Just
many
call 'em the
SUVs do you
same-
need?
Just call them the same names you've already got. That's what I say. 2030, we'll see this one.
All right.
Although it may look slightly different after a focus.
100%. 100% different.
But now we go to the next story, and our powers will combine to conjure. What do we conjure? The next
Conjure.
story.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can conjure it.
When their powers combine, they become the Japanese Five, where the Japanese government has asked everybody to sort of work together.
Okay.
They're going to work with AI and chips for next-gen cars. Japanese automakers will work together to develop next-gen AI technology and semiconductors.
You know, I'm not gonna lie.
You like a good semiconductor?
Well, I do, but I've also been very reticent with AI. I was doing a little bit of like Google searching, and there's with Google their own AI. It actually is really helpful.
Yeah.
It
A lot
is.
of
I mean,
searches with that stuff.
especially when you're searching and stuff, and the AI is like, "Well, I found this. It's exactly what you're looking for."
You have to remember to do actual research, which
Mhm.
just means like read stuff yourself.
Well, yeah, you do have to read. You have to read. You have to click on the
Yeah,
article
because AI makes shit up. It doesn't.
Yeah.
Like this article by Professor Stoney, C.C. Stoney, says there's no Professor C.C. Stoney. He used to volunteer at MMA. It's the only place he existed.
But I mean, you do have to watch content that you are putting in. Besides us, I mean, you can trust us. We're 100% legit.
According to what this story said.
And the AI overlords.
Well, they're going to develop it through 2030, which makes sense. They'll probably be in that coupe that they're developing.
That's when the coupes are going to come back in 2030. We got a big phase of SUVs, and then people are going to be like, I need something small. And they'll be like, oh, thank God, Honda.
Well, they're going to call it the SDV, Strategic Focus on Software Development Vehicles.
Okay.
Which they're going to improve software and the hardware and engine parts. Without self-driving tech, it could be given functionality of self-driving over time with software updates.
Okay.
That is the plan 2025 and beyond.
I see subscriptions, especially for software updates. I see subscriptions in the future.
Yeah, well, they're going to work on 7 areas of development: chip, application, program, interface, software systems, virtual simulation, generative AI, if I can get the words out my mouth.
Yeah.
Automatic inspection, security measures against cyber attack. That one I like. You need that. Like, I don't need my car driving into the wall.
Yeah.
Unless I piss off a
Well, there was
four-star
that
general.
one recall, I think, for Jeeps, to where your car could be hacked while you're driving, and they had they sent out,
and it
they sent
caused
out
this guy's
USBs.
Mercedes to drive at high speed in a wall, but he was.
Well, it wasn't Jeep, but Jeep, they had that software hack available, so they ended up sending out USBs, and people would still go right up to the dealership and be like, "Hey, I got this. Like, what do I do?" Be like, "Well, I'll charge you to plug it into your USB and let it run, or you could just plug it into your USB." And people would pay us. They would pay us to plug it in and charge.
I don't know. The world could explode.
I don't do technology. Here, take my money. Some people are like that. But they literally made it so easy. They're like, hey, so nobody can hack your car. Plug this in and leave your car on. And people are like, I don't get it.
Well, what you will get is they're also going to work on high precision 3D mapping for autonomous driving, technology measures between vehicles, objects, and or pedestrians.
They're adding these features in for you people that can't drive. I just want to point that out. I mean, have you had any problems like avoiding pedestrians? Like, I don't think in all my years of driving I ever have.
On purpose or by accident?
Either.
Well, you
We'll
can find
say
out with this next story. Well, this is it. Dodge has a new chief executive for Ram and Dodge brands. It's Tim Kunis. is retiring after 32 years with the company. Christine Fuel is the new Ram CEO as she takes that on along with her job as brand leader. Fuel became the CEO of Chrysler in September 2021. Matt Adler is appointed the CEO of Dodge. Rams moving upper management. That's all I
Alright.
got.
I mean, with Dodge and Ram, I mean, once they made Ram its own separate thing, it kind of made sense. You have your
It was,
trucks.
if you think about it, it was the first Genesis type thing. We'll just make this Ram.
Well, they played off. I think Genesis happened before that, but they played off of that, and they were like, you know what? Yeah, Ram. This is our truck line.
No one
And-
will forget Genesis 2112.
Like I previously mentioned earlier in this podcast, Toyota tried to do it with Prius, and I'm pretty sure they stopped that.
Well-
and Scion, remember that failed experiment?
Yeah.
Oh my God, Scion, Prius.
I
Let's try this, and it just failed.
I still see a Scion out in the wild every now and again.
You do.
They're still out there. They're
It's
not
still-
dead.
It's still a Toyota.
It's like when you see a Saab in the wild. You're like,
Yeah.
wow, look, a Saab. They still exist. But not really.
It's still that brand, and it's that car. They were in their heyday. They were making it right. Scions. You still see those XBs and TCs out there, just like the Volvos and all those solid cars. You'll see all of them out there, and it comes down to the manufacturer and how well they made it. So maybe it is moves laterally in management like this that gets that stuff done.
Or maybe we could move on to the next story. There was a day in the past, long ago, the last update, when you could play Steam games on your Tesla. That is no longer the case.
Why? Why wouldn't you be able to play Steam games in your car?
While you're driving, yeah, this seems
I don't
so
get it.
safe.
I don't get it.
Well, Tesla is telling new Model S and X drivers that they will not have accessibility to playing Steam games in their vehicle.
But it's for the passenger. I have a passenger and he wants to play the games. It's not me.
He just happens
The
to be sitting in the
driver?
driver's seat. Right.
Well, he
Just
couldn't.
please drive.
He couldn't beat this specific level, so he asked me to help, and I put it on self-driving. I'm kind of paying attention, and then I got into an accident.
The car, I thought the car saw it.
What are all these security softwares for if I can't play a goddamn game and drive at the same time? What world are we living in?
We don't live in iRobot. We're not living in the future yet. I'm sorry.
Yet.
I know for the last 40 years they've been telling you in the year 2020 everything will be different. It was. It was way different.
You know what though? I saw a meme and it was on the Jetsons, and they were
Mhm.
they were in like 2002. We were supposed to already have Jetson shit by now.
We don't.
I mean, some stuff like robots, we got Rosie. I mean, not enough sass, but
Well, you can no longer play Steam games like Fallout.
fucking fascist.
But you can watch Fallout on your phone, I'm sure, for Lugnutz Gaming, and
Yeah,
I'll be there tomorrow too.
you can watch it, and I mean, maybe you can watch stuff on your
Or
Tesla. while
we
you
could
drive.
watch this freaky story. Have you seen this before? Does this look familiar to anyone but like me?
Yeah, you're at,
It was
you're
done
at-
with a Volvo on one side
Uh-huh.
and like James May in the center, and then another Volvo on the other side. This is what Citroen's doing. I think they stole his idea, but it's a great idea.
I don't know. I don't know. if it is.
Citroen's selling a two-headed van.
Why?
Here's why. At first you're like, why would you do this? It's called the back-to-back. It's for lowering production and shipping costs. The vans are bolted together as a temporary structure for third-party companies to build motorhomes, campers, and other specialty vehicles upon. Well, it offers freedom to build what you want. Build it your way. Or you could build it over on our website. Hey, thanks for watching. You could get your ad seen here. Talk about your business. Contact us right here.
And www.pjandwh.com. That's where you're going to find all of our polished content. Hop over to the Contact Us page. That's where you can let us know, hey man, we want to advertise on your network. And still so until next time, it doesn't matter if you drive a Camaro or if you drive a BMW, because nothing rolls without Lugnutz. We'll see you next week, gang. Until then, drive on!